I've got to say, one of the biggest things plaguing the black community is that failure for us to keep the family and the brotherhood together. If you check the Indian families, it's brothers working with cousins, working with uncles. This is generational where they're in this field, whether it's electricians, whether it's engineers, no matter what it is, they maintain that brotherhood. If you look in the white community, you see how young white men keep the same friends all the way up until they pass away. When you look at their funerals, it's the same pictures of them when they were children. They were able to maintain that brotherhood. They went fishing together, they do adventures together, they take these pictures, they create these memories. And the reason that I'm bringing this up is because a lot of times it's them that got them in the position that they're in. It's them that got them the job that they got. It's their father that hired them in the career path that they got, that they wound up starting their own business off of. They might have been working with their friend's father who was doing HVAC. So now they own an HVAC company that expands into a family business. And now you got GE. That's how you got the AutoZones. That's how you got the Dolce and Gabbanas. That's how you were able to build all of these different structures, is by learning how to work with each other over the period of a lifetime. And I think in the black community, we have failed miserably at this. We have one little argument and we fall out. We don't speak to each other for the rest of our lives. Our parents make a mistake. We don't forgive them. We hold it against them for the rest of their lives. Our friends make mistakes. We hold it against them for the rest of our lives. And I think that works to our detriment. Every time that we lose one of those friends or we lose access to another family, all we're doing is harming ourselves. And this happens on a regular basis. In the black community, it is not foreign to not know any of your neighbors. It is not foreign to never have spoken to any of your neighbors. When I was growing up in the 90s, it was impossible not to know all of your neighbors, because your mother made you help the old lady from across the street. Your mother made sure that when you were at church, you learned who Miss such and such and Deacon such and such was. So when you were out there, you were always protected. These people were always outside policing our communities ourselves, but that's because those families knew each other for a lifetime. My mother's friends are people that they've known for a lifetime. My father's friends, people that they've known for a lifetime. And then somewhere in the black community that got lost. If we lost our elders right now, we would have no more family reunions. We wouldn't even know who's family anymore. We would have people sleeping with each other and not finding out till way later on that that's your cousin, or that might be your sister, or that you have no idea, because the families are so broken. We need to take lessons from the other races. We have to get out of this idea that this black culture that we have belongs to us and we can't borrow from anybody else and anybody else can't borrow from us. I promise you that most of the people borrowing from us are also the degenerate versions of their community. If you look at the white degenerates, they're imitating the black degenerates. If you look at the Asian degenerates, they're imitating the black degenerates. Find the lower class degenerates of any culture and they're copying black culture. And that's sickening as a black man for me to see. When everybody else is pointing 30s in the cameras, doing music videos with 300 people and 900 firearms like they ready to take on the army, they're imitating black culture, which is nothing to be proud of. Culture vulture my ass. They're stealing things that we shouldn't have anyway. We don't need the colorful wigs. We don't need the men wearing purses. We don't need most of the things that people are stealing from us anyway. We need to actually borrow some of what they got. We need to borrow some of the meditations that they have. We need to borrow some of the cultures that they have. We need to borrow some of the ideas that they have. And the Jewish culture, commanded by God, you have to teach your son a trade by the age of 13. What would be the issue with adopting that and making that a part of black culture? In the Jewish community, even if someone else of another group is better at a job than your Jewish brother, you have to hire the Jewish man and he will learn over time to be as good as the person you are going to hire from the other race. We would rather keep the techniques, the skills. We would rather build you from scratch ourselves. Even if you're not good at it now, you'll be great at it later. And the reason you're going to get greater at it later is because all of us are going to hire you to do this. So you're okay to make your mistakes. In the black community, a company make a mistake one time, that company is out of business. Amazon done delivered your packages late. You never boycotted them. Only in the black community, if they get black service that's bad one time, they will no longer deal with black services. That is insane. So there are some things that we can borrow from other cultures that we need to adopt ourselves. And the main reason that we are failing is because of that lack of brotherhood, that lack of unity, that attitude that we have, that if somebody makes a mistake, then it's middle finger for the rest of their lives. We need to get over that. That's emotional. That is a horrible response to a problem. Do you know how many times white people have arguments and don't speak to each other for a while, but their families are so tight-knit that no matter what, there's an uncle in the family that will sit you two down at the table and let y'all hash it out. There's a mother you respect. There's something. There's a medium there to make sure that these two families never have to break up over some nonsense. We need to develop that. And it's going to take the 30-year-olds of us. It's going to take the newer generation of us. It's going to take us, because the grandmothers are going away. The great-grandmothers that maintained the culture, that kept the family together, they're going away. And if we're relying on us to keep this going, and none of us speak to each other, and all of us are beefing with each other, we don't like our cousin, we don't speak to each other for 9 months, 3, 4, 5 years at a time. New children are born, we have no idea. They're going to school together, we don't know it until we bump into each other one day. We need to get out of that. We have to slow down. We have to slow down. We thought back to the basis was the wrong way. No, we need to go back to our roots. We need to go back to what we were doing during the Jim Crow era, where black people were projected to be better than white people, and we were still a very small minority of the population. When we were building the Tulsas, when we were building the Hope in Philly, where we had the ideas in Florida, that self-sufficiency. There was a group of us that came along, sold Big Mama's house, sold Big Mama's property to move into these cities to live this fast life. And that's not the way that we need to be living. That's not the way we need to be living.
Been accused of having sold out. And I find this actually quite interesting because I've actually given this a great deal of thought. Black marriage rates were significantly higher before the civil rights movement compared to after. Children were more likely to grow up in a two-parent household before the civil rights movement as opposed to after. Black men were more entrepreneurial and more self-reliant before the civil rights movement as opposed to after. And so for me, when I look at my own life and I look at my own values, they are more indicative of the average Southern Black man prior to the civil rights movement. And so I haven't sold out. I've kept in continuation with my father, with my great-grandfathers and my great-great-grandfathers. I'm a continuation of that. I've maintained that culture. If anyone has sold out, it's you all. It's Black culture. Y'all sold out the entrepreneurial spirit, the family unit. Y'all sold out of that in pursuit of what? The entertainment industry's version of what Black culture is. If voting is any kind of measure of where a person stands in terms of how they identify, the fact that 90+% of Black folks vote for Democrats, the party that basically reinforces everything the entertainment industry says Black culture is, if anyone has sold out, it's those who insist upon the modern entertainment culture that you now call Black culture. I'm not the one who sold out, sir. You are.
We need to get back on those lands. That's where the money is. If you ever study where a lot of the wealth comes from in America, it came from people who originally were family farmers, the Quaker people, the Mills, all of these different people. That is the last name of a family. That's the last name of a family. Dolce and Gabbana, those are last names of families. Aeropostale, all of these different names that you guys are wearing all over yourselves. Most of them are the last names of families. And if us 30-year-old Black people don't regain control of this shit, we're going to lose the opportunity to maybe be able to do this forever as African Americans. The Africans are coming over here and outpacing us. The Nigerians, the people coming from Ghana, they have a drive that we're lacking, that our grandparents had. We need it back. And the only way to do it is to stop thinking we're going to be able to do it by ourselves. We have to team up as families. We have to learn how to live with each other again. We have to learn how to be around each other. We have to learn conflict resolution. If we don't do this, we are screwed. If we can't get these concepts down pat, we are screwed. Our children are going to be lost. They're going to move on to the other cultures, and we're no longer going to be able to maintain anything that's Black, because the idea of us is going to become so negative that the entire world is going to be against us and everything that we are. It used to be good to be a black man. We were the welders. We were the house builders. We were the mechanics. We knew those skills. We had good families. Our children were respectful. They had manners. They knew English. They knew how to read. They always say if you want to hide something from a nigga, you put it in a book. And we refuse to read. We refuse to gain other information. We stay stuck in these boxes. For what? Expand your thinking. Go back and take some of the lessons from Big Mama. Forgive some of y'all parents. Work with some of y'all friends. Stop having these separations between your friends over minor circumstances. I've had friends we've had to have some serious conversations with, and we maintained each other as friends afterwards. I have some brothers I've had to have some uncomfortable conversations with, where they may have had to call me out on my behavior. I might have had to call them out on their behavior. We still maintain the bond because it's not that deep. We should be able to do this. We do it with the other races. We do it with our white bosses. We do it with our Indian bosses. We find a way to tone it down to be able to disagree and still be able to walk away with our dignity and our job afterwards. Why can't we walk away with our friendships? Instead, y'all booming each other. Y'all going to war with the other side over absolute nonsense, over Facebook nonsense, because y'all not man enough to sit down at the table. And y'all also don't have somebody that you all mutually respect enough to sit down at the table with. And that's because the connection is gone. We need to bring it back. If you guys like more conversations like this, make sure that you like, subscribe, comment. We're going to keep on bringing you new content. We're going to keep on bringing you new information. These uncomfortable conversations have to be had. If you guys would like to join, go ahead and drop it down in the comment section. Let me know what days would be the best, and we can start opening this up to have this conversation more broadly, because there may be other people who see it other way or have some other great input that they may be able to put into this. So I'm not against that. I'm willing to have all kinds of ideas on here. Make sure that y'all like, subscribe, comment, share the videos. Until next time, low key, low ski. Peace.